Hey guys, so I made a video about this same dream yesterday, but I had just woken up from a nap and I was out of it, and it's not really the best video, so I just wanted to re-record because honestly, like, this dream was unlike anything that I've had before. And I've had some dreams in the past about like tribulation / persecution, but this dream was really real, and it was so specific it makes me feel like compelled to share, and I don't really know if I'm sharing this message for brothers and sisters in Christ, or if this message I need to put out for people to potentially find after the rapture. But so anyway, so here is what I dreamed. In this dream, it was very obvious that the U.S. was in a period of heavy persecution. I did not witness any type of natural disaster, but the more I think of it, the more I think probably something along that lines had happened, because the persecution that I felt was like, and this is what makes me think that maybe even this dream is to represent like a pre-tribulation event, because I still felt like the people who were pursuing us were still under some type of restraint. Like, it wasn't kind of like all-out war yet. It was like they were getting ready to implement extremely strict martial law type scenario. But in the dream, everything, a very heavy theme of this dream was that everything was being recorded. Everything. Everywhere you went, in your home. I don't know if they had come in and set all of this up following a natural disaster, or if the timeline is further in advance. You know, we have Alexa, we have our smartphones now that monitor everything that we say. Seems like they can read your mind sometimes. Our smart TVs are monitoring you. I mean, they are putting things in our home slowly but surely, where the purpose is for them to monitor us. Big Brother and the cabal, or whoever you want to call it, they are monitoring us. They are. So you don't have to like it. You don't have to believe me, but I know this to be the truth. So anyway, but at this point in my dream, like, literally everything inside of our home was monitoring us. There were a lot of things posted outside that I knew were monitoring who was coming and going very closely. And they had tabs on where everybody was and who everybody was. And in my dream, I just knew that basically I couldn't escape the monitoring. So that makes me feel like this maybe was set, it was either set a little bit further in the future, or something is going to happen to where they're going to, like, overnight roll out a much heavier system of monitoring. But so anyway, in this dream, I don't know why, but like, I felt like the powers that be didn't know that my husband and I had our children. And so I don't know if that's because, you know, we had tried to make them believe that they had passed away and whatever disaster had occurred, or whether, I don't know how I felt like we were flying under the radar, but that was my impression in the dream, was that I didn't think that they were aware that my kids existed. They knew my husband. I knew they knew my husband and I were in this house that we were at, but I didn't think they knew about my kids. And so I was trying to hide my children. And we were hidden in this attic, and at one point, my kids walk past a ladder that's opened up, and all of a sudden they walk past it, and when they walk past a light, I see a little light flicker on the ladder. I don't I don't know what the meaning. I'm not great with dream, interpretation, guys. So if somebody has helpful interpretation, I would appreciate any input. So I don't know what the meaning of it being a ladder was, but they walked past the ladder, and this ladder had a light on it which flickered, and at that moment it hit me, and I'm like, crap, like they know that my kids are here, and now they're gonna come get us. And sure enough, after they triggered the sensor or whatever, I would say about 3 minutes. I mean, it was very, like, in the sense of dread that just filled me was like, great, now they're coming for us. And I knew that it had immediately triggered some type of alarm to somebody. And so then, like 3 minutes later, we hear this loud helicopter, and it is right over the top of our home. And I'm still like what I'm doing is I'm standing, I make the kids get behind my body, and I'm trying to hide them kind of in the darkness of the house by, this humongous helicopter had massive floodlights on it, and anything in any path of a window would be fully illuminated. But we were in an attic, and there was only one window, and I'm literally trying to hide the kids behind my body so they can only see my silhouette. I tell my husband, I'm like, run down there, like go down there and talk to them, and find out like what they want. So at that point, I obviously didn't think that they were there to kill us all, or I wouldn't have, sent my husband, but I was trying to get him to just like call off the dogs, I guess, type scenario. And so my husband goes down to the garage, and I'm not, at this point in the dream, I'm watching him, but I'm not participating like in the scene. Like I know somehow that I'm really still in the attic with my kids. Dreams are weird, I don't know. But I can see him sitting in the garage, and he's just sitting there calmly, and he's sitting in like in a very old school, like, again, if somebody wants to help me with symbolism, this was very specific and kind of just random and weird, but he is sitting in one of these like old school, like from the 80s, metal folding chairs, but it's like that plastic material that was almost like woven. I don't know if anybody remembers what I'm talking about, but it's like super like neon-y, like orange and green, like bright colored chairs. And he's got this huge rifle laying over the metal arms of this chair, and he's just sitting there like holding on, to the ends of this huge gun. And these soldiers come in, and I was looking up uniforms and helmets online, and it looked, from what I saw, the helmet that struck a chord with me looked like a NATO helmet from the pictures that I Googled. Now, the U.S. Army helmet looks somewhat similar, but I found a picture of a NATO helmet that looked most like what I saw in my dream. And so these soldiers, they're probably 4 or 5, come into the garage. Again, it's all lit up, and this helicopter, like, they came down on ropes. This helicopter is still hovering really low, and they're talking. I don't know what they're saying, but they're talking over a loudspeaker like that the whole neighborhood would have heard. And these soldiers come into the garage, and they look at my husband. They're like, this part sticks out like it really happened, is how it feels. And they just look at him, and one says, "Good evening, sir." He said, "We're just running some drills tonight." And it was just weird, because it's like, okay, clearly you're not running a drill. Like, I knew they were coming because of the sensor that we had set off. So they were responding. They weren't running a drill. And my husband said, "That's fine." And he said, "I'm running my drill also." And what he said in my dream is, "Just for the record, I shoot to kill," which is weird. Not how my husband talks, and that part was just kind of a random comment. But just letting them know, I guess, that, he's going to defend his family to the death is what he's letting them know. And in this dream, they did not have an accent of any type, so I